What is going on, Crimson City? My name is Crimson CBAD, bringing you guys our Week 6 team builder in the GBA. Your Detroit Steelwings going up against Coach Jolt and the Kansas City Jirachiefs. And this is a big match this week. Jolt, I believe, right now is undefeated. So that is very menacing in its own. And our own unfortunate loss record right now is not holding up to snuff as far as who is going to win on paper, but I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. If you guys are excited, show some love in that like button down below. If you're new, feel free to hit that subscribe button. There are two other leagues we got going on right now, the APA and the NPA, both of which you guys can check out the content in the description of this video, as well as Jolt's channel. Go show him some love. A fantastic builder and battler, one of my favorites in the format. Always innovative, always creative. And obviously, being undefeated right now in GBA shows just how capable he is. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Jolt's team. First off, one of his Z captains, Celesteela, which we do have in the NPA. We face many times in League format. Very common threat in League format nowadays. Everybody wants a Celesteela. It's so good. It's so bulky. 97 HP, 103 defense, 101 special defense. Impressive attack stats, both 101 and 107 attack and special attack, respectively. The underwhelming speed stat of having a base stat of 61, but being able to boost that through its Autotomize, having access to Autotomize, is incredible. It's got that Beast Boost ability, which increases, gives it a stat raise upon knocking out a Pokemon afterwards. Being able to boost almost every one of its stats, depending on the build that it does have, is very, very scary. Incredible Pokemon. Tons of coverage on it. I love it. I'm not looking forward to facing it. Next up is Hydreigon. Hydreigon is a incredibly powerful Pokemon. 105 attack, 125 special attack, sits at about 98 speed. It does have the Levitate ability, giving it that ground immunity, making it immune from spike damage as well. Does have that glaring 4x weakness to fairy typing, though, which is unfortunate because we don't have a fairy anymore, but our fairy wasn't that impressive anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. Incredibly, typically seen with something like a Scarf, perhaps even Specs, depending on the opposing speeds here, but I commonly see something like Hydreigon with a Scarf. Outstanding coverage with access to moves like, Stab, Dark Pulse, and Draco Meteor is always powerful. Pivot with U-Turn, being able to toss off Earth Power is also really, really cool. It's got a ton of other coverage moves, which I really do enjoy on this Pokemon. It's incredibly powerful. Not looking forward to facing it. Next up here, another Pokemon. I feel like Jolt's team consists of a lot of Pokemon that I really don't want to face in League format. It's just my nightmare team. So we have to face our fears. Next up is Arcanine, which we do have in the APA. Arcanine having some fantastic abilities in League format. Flash Fire giving it the Fire immunity. Intimidate, dropping our attack stage by 1 stage, and then Justified, increasing its own attack stage if hit by a dark type move. 110 base attack and 80 defense, 100 special attack, 80 special defense, 95 base speed, 90 base HP. I mean, it's a really bulky Pokemon, very reliable Pokemon, has priority and extreme speed, reliable recovery with Morning Sun, has Will-O-Wisp access, has coverage with things like Close Combat, Outrage, Wild Charge. I mean, Flare Blitz hits really hard off this thing as well. Can also be run special with like Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Solar Beam, things like that as well, which is really incredible. His Mega on the team is Mega Venusaur, speaking of bulky boys. 80 base HP, 100 attack, 122 special attack, 80 speed, 123 in defense, 120 in special defense with the Thick Fat, decreasing the super effectiveness of fire and ice type moves, pretty much making it only weak to flying and psychic, which is very, very scary. Can be run physical with things like Earthquake, Knockoff, Poison Jab, Petal Blizzard, I believe it is. Or could be run special, obviously. Typically, you see it run special with things like Dual Stab and Giga Drain and Solar Beam, Attack, Hidden Power. Can run Sleep Powder, can run Leech Seed, has reliable recovery and synthesis. It's a great Pokemon. Seismitoad pairing with that. He's got a very bulky Fire Water Grass core, 105 base HP. Speed instead, nothing too impressive with 74. I mean, good bulk, both 75 in both defenses, 95 attack. 85 in special attack. Has the Water Absorb, giving it a water immunity, pairing very nicely with Arcanine. Has the Swift Swim, so in the rain its speed is doubled. Wouldn't see that coming. And then Poison Touch, having a chance to poison a Pokemon upon physical contact is always nice. It's a very reliable stealth rocker. Good knockoff user, spams things like Earthquake, Sludge Wave, Scald. I mean, really good at what it does. Does have that 4x weakness to grass. But things like Celesteela, Hydreigon, Arcanine, and Mega Venusaur all appreciate a grass type move. So far his team is looking really, really nice. Aerodactyl, very fast Pokemon with 130 base speed, has that Rock Head ability, also has pressure in case for stalling purposes. I suppose it's not too bulky, so I don't anticipate like a pressure Aerodactyl, but Unnerve, making it so our Pokemon do not eat resistance berries is very, very crazy. Hits really hard with 105 base attack, good rocker, good taunt user. Rotom, his other Z captain. Rotom, we unfortunately faced a Rotom week 1 of the NPA. We've used regular Rotom before. It can be very terrifying, underwhelming, at first, but can be very terrifying. Has that levitate ability, giving it the ground immunity. So it does have immunities to normal type moves, ground type moves, and fighting type moves with its typing and its ability. Can be a Scarf user, can be a Specs user, can be a Trick user, can just be Will-O-Wisp support. Bolts around with Volt Switch, so he does have 2 Pokemon with a turn core as far as U-Turn and Hydreigon. Volt Switch with Rotom. Being able to toss off Hexes is really cool as well. Gardevoir is a Fairy Psychic type Pokemon, 125 base special attack, 80 base speed, nothing too crazy. Does have the Trace ability, so being able to copy our own ability could be crazy depending on what he wants to go for. A Trace Prankster a Gardevoir that traces my Thundurus's Prankster and then goes for a Destiny Bond. That is a nightmare in itself now that I just thought of it. I was thinking how Trace could be used against us right here. Perhaps tracing the Serene Grace off of Jirachi as well could provide for some very, very scary things to happen, especially bulky. 115 in special defense, while its HP stat is only 68, so it's nothing too crazy. Synchronize also, in case we like Toxic, Burn it, Paralyze it, Sleep it. Synchronize does mimic that over to our own Pokemon as well. Hits hard with Moonblast and Psyshock. I would anticipate Psyshock to happen this week. Shadow Ball. Could just be a Scarf set with like Trick, Shadow Ball, Psyshock, and Moonblast, honestly. That could definitely be something that happens. Alolan Persian I've never fought in League format, but I always comment upon how good it is, just because it does have some niche abilities with Fur Coat and doubling its own base defense, or doubling its own defense stat, which is base 60. So when you're doubling that, I mean, that's still pretty impressive bulk that it could get behind it. Technician boosting its attacks that are base 60 and lower. Can be scary as well. Things like Fake Out. Does have Parting Shot. Has access to Parting Shot, a fast Parting Shot at that with that base 115 speed. Could be very, very scary. I'm interested to see if he brings that. Breloom is a Pokemon that now that I've used it, I feel like I just need to learn how to play around it. Hits really hard with 130 base attack. Does have access to Effect Spore. 30% chance, I believe, on contact to paralyze, poison, or sleep a target. Poison Heal is something that could happen. A Toxic Orb Poison Heal set, giving it reliable recovery. And then Technician, obviously, again, boosting those base 60 and lower moves, such as Rock Tomb, such as Bullet Seed, such as Mach Punch. SD Breloom can be very, very scary. And then last but not least, he does have Durant, a Pokemon that tops out at 109, or has 109 base speed. Hits really hard with 109 base attack. Does have access to Hustle, decreasing the accuracy while boosting the own offensive power of its moves by, I believe, 30%. Can hit really hard. A Hone Claws Durant can be something very scary. Obviously, Hone Claws increasing the attack stage by 1, also increasing the accuracy as well of those moves, so it doesn't have to worry about Hustle too much. Being able to toss off Stone Edges, Iron Heads, X Scissors, all that good stuff after a Hone Claws is very, very terrifying. Some things to note about his team: he has Stealth Rockers in the form of Seismitoad and Aerodactyl. He does not have any Spiker nor a T-Spiker. He does have a Mega Venusaur to absorb Toxic Spikes if need be. He has no Rapid Spinner, but he has 3 Defoggers in the form of Hydreigon, Aerodactyl, and Rotom. He has a Heal Beller in the form of Gardevoir and a Healing Wish user in the form of Gardevoir as well. So now that we have broken down his team and talked about it, we'll go ahead and talk about our team, what we have and why we have it. First up here, Houndoug the Lycanroc Dusk is coming back after seeing his only battle was our only victory so far, so hopefully Lycanroc Dusk is just the key to victory here. Focus Sash Lycanroc Dusk with the Tough Claws ability, boosting those contact moves. Taunt, Accelerock, Stealth Rock, Endeavor. 4 in HP, 252 attack, 252 speed with a Jolly Nature. Taunt is really nice for his defoggers, such as Rotom, such as the Hydreigon, such as the Aerodactyl. Did I talk? Yeah. Rotom, Hydreigon, and Aerodactyl. Yeah. Being able to put rocks up and then being able to taunt away his defoggers can be really, really useful. Being able to revenge kill those things with other mons on his team is really nice. Focus Sash Endeavor can be very nice for getting that Celesteela really far down. His priority on the team includes Extreme Speed on Arcanine and Mach Punch on Breloom. So unless it is a Scarf Pokemon, it will not be able to outspeed us. We'll be able to get our Endeavor off, which will be really, really nice. Accelerock hits really hard. Being able to taunt, shut down the Aerodactyl, and being able to Accelerock that thing can really hurt. Let's go on ahead. Let me run a calc here really quickly just to show you here. Just to show you, Aerodactyl. If he is an offensive variant of Aerodactyl, Accelerock is a guaranteed 2-hit KO on that thing. If he feels like going for rocks, so be it. We can get up our own rocks and return into 2-hit KO with Accelerock. Can be very, very nice in case that matchup ever happens. Accelerock is just also really good stab to have. Let me just see about like something like a Rotom, like a Choice Scarf Rotom set. Accelerock does 40 to 48, can be really cool. Accelerock be doing damage to the Arcanine as well. Durant, let me just double check that as well. In case he is like a Hone Claws set. Accelerock still doing good damage. I mean, it is stab, it is it is Tough Claws boosted, I should say. Being able to put up rocks, being able to Endeavor Mons down, like the Celesteela, like the Arcanine potentially, like the Mega Venusaur, like Seismitoad, and then being able to pick them off with priority and Accelerock can prove to be very, very niche this week. I'm hoping it does very, very well this week. Lycanroc Dusk is a fan favorite of mine. I do enjoy the Pokemon. I'm really looking forward to see what it does this week as well. Next up here, we are bringing Charge Bolt, the Thunderous, rocking that Psyche MZ, the Prankster ability. Psychic, Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, and Nasty Plot. 4 in HP to give it that odd amount of HP, so it can come on rocks in an odd amount of times. 4 in defense and 4 in special defense, because we don't let EVs go to waste. 252 max special attack, 244 speed with a tip in nature. Again, this is to outspeed the Durant. Fast Pokemon we can outspeed, possibly. Psychic hits the Mega Venusaur really hard. A Psychium Z. Let's run this calc here really quickly. Just so I get my numbers right. Mega Venusaur. If he is a defensive Mega Venusaur, Psychic does 36 to 44. Psychium Z does 72 to 84. If we can get a Nasty Plot off, Shattered Psyche does knock out a max HP, max special defense Venusaur. Even if we don't choose to use our Z, +2 Psychic is a 2-hit KO on this thing. I don't want to take a Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb has a chance to 2-hit KO, or 61% chance to 2-hit KO outside of poison damage. And that's with no special attack investment. So if I can get +2 up and just go for a Psychium Z on Venusaur, that can be very, very nice here. Thunderbolt obviously hurting the Celesteela. Focus Blast hurting the Hydreigon. Thunderbolt hitting the Arcanine. Psychium Z we talked about, the Mega Venusaur. Psychic and Focus Blast. So my issue here is with the Seismitoad. If I had to say, if we just look up like a standard defensive Toad, which could come just for our Mega Beedrill. I mean, +2 Psychic is still a 2-hit KO. +2 Focus Blast has a chance to 2-hit KO. If the Mega Venusaur doesn't come for whatever reason, +2 Shattered Psyche does knock out the Toad as well, which will be really, really cool. Again, if the Mega Venusaur doesn't come, that's probably what I'll nuke on that point. Aerodactyl obviously dies to the Thunderbolt. Rotom's another Pokemon that I want to double check here really, really quickly if he does bring like a Scarf set or something. +2 Psychic has a 93.8% chance to OHKO. So after some rocks damage, if we get pre-existing damage off on Rotom, that does knock it out as well. If he does bring something like the Gardevoir, Gardevoir dies to, or has a 56% chance to die to a +2 Thunderbolt. If he's like an Assault Vest set, which he could be, I believe he's brought that before, +2 Thunderbolt, 2-hit KOs. Moonblast does a bit of damage, so we got to be careful about that. Alolan Persian, probably. Let me just... No, Persian. There we go. There we go. Alolan Persian, yeah, +2 Thunderbolt goes down to Breloom and Durant, I would imagine, as well. But with some pre-existing chip damage off, we can definitely put some work in on this thing. +2 Psychic nukes Breloom. Regular Psychic nukes Breloom as well if it is an offensive set. And then as far as the Durant goes, same thing I would imagine here. Yeah, uninvested Thunderbolt has a guaranteed OHKO chance on Durant. So even without the +2, Thunder is putting in a tremendous, tremendous amount of work, being able to outspeed these Pokemon, being able to put off the damage that we do need this week, being able to chip it down for one of our setup sweepers in the back. We do have a lot of setup this week, and I think that's what's going to catch Jolt off guard. And if that's not the case, then so be it. But next up here, we are bringing Backdraft, the Suicune. Backdraft coming in with a standard set with a not-so-standard build. 252 in HP, 60 in defense, 196 in special defense with a Calm Nature, Rest, Calm Mind, Scald, and Sleep Talk. Coon set does do quite a bit of work this week, provided the Seismitoad is not around. If Seismitoad is not around, we can 1v1 quite a few of his Mons, provided once Mega Venusaur and Toad go down, I'm really comfortable with this thing. Once Toad goes down, I'm slightly more comfortable with this thing. We can go ahead and talk about some of the damage that this thing puts out. His physical threats really include Arcanine and the Breloom. And even if we were to look at an offensive Arcanine, Wild Charge has a 49% chance to 2-hit KO after Leftovers Recovery. And if that's the case, Scald, like I said, Scald is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, and that's with a very offensive Arcanine. Something like a Mega Venusaur, if he does bring like a defensive set with that. Giga Drain is doing 32 to 40. We can Calm Mind boost, and once we start getting some boosts off, Scald starts to do a lot. If we can get some burn damage off, being able to nerf the potential recovery that he does have is really cool as well. Like I said, once Mega Venusaur and Seismitoad go down, I feel really comfortable with this set. If he brings the Breloom, I don't want that to happen. Breloom's really the only thing I feel like that threatens this thing out is like an SD Breloom. Outside of that, if he does bring Mega Venusaur, Toad, and Breloom, once those 3 go down, I have a lot of confidence in this set. I love Suicune. I love Coon specifically. I think he can put in a lot of work against his team. Next up here, we do have Endeavor. We are bringing Infernape with the Shukaberry, the Iron Fist ability, Swords Dance, Mach Punch, Close Combat, and Flarelets. 76 in HP, 252 attack, and 180 speed with a Jolly Nature. Dual Stab manhandles his team. Dual Stab absolutely manhandles his team. If it's a fighting switch in, it's not a fire switch in, and vice versa. SD being able to boost our attack. Obviously, we're coming off of that base 104 attacks. That is going to do really nice. And Mach Punch is really good priority as well. It was originally Iron Plate on the Infernape, but I decided to go with the Shukaberry set this week. We can go ahead and talk about some of the damage that it does put out. A defensive Celesteela. Flare Blitz does 67 to 80 if he is defensive, and if we get up to +2, it is not a switch-in. The Hydreigon as well. If he's a Choice Scarf Hydreigon, we can take a look here. Mach Punch at +2, having a 56% chance to OHKO. Close Combat, obviously devastating that thing. Unboosted, Mach Punch does have a 57% chance to 2-hit KO a Scarf Hydreigon set. So if he is low enough, Mach Punch is going to be able to put off the damage that we do need. Against the Arcanine, again, like a defensive Arcanine, if it's a fire switch-in, it's not a fighting switch-in. Close Combat actually doesn't do too much to that thing. I feel like we need to boost up. At +2, if we get a Swords Dance up and he switches in, Close Combat is still a 2-hit KO on that thing. So again, pre-existing damage, having Rocks up to be able to damage that Arcanine is very nice as well. Looking at like a defensive Mega Venusaur set as well, again, a +2 Flare Blitz, 74 to 88. I mean, just does a tremendous amount of damage to his team. The Seismitoad, again, a defensive Seismitoad can definitely be coming this week. +2 Close Combat doing 72 to 84. So again, if we start getting some pre-existing chip damage off with something like Stealth Rocks, with something like Accelerock from Lycanroc, being able to poke holes with things like Thundurus, even tossing off a few Scalds with Suicune. Infernape does have an incredible chance as well. Next up here, we can talk about Jirachi, our Real Steel set. Really nice set this week. I really do enjoy this. We are rocking Colberberry Jirachi, Coal Mine, Psychic, Moonblast, and Thunderbolt, 12 in HP. 252 in special attack, 244 in speed with a timid nature. We are outspeeding timid Hydreigon by 1 point. And I don't know if I talked about that with Endeavor. Again, Infernape, 180 speed with the Jolly Nature, we're outspeeding unscarfed timid Hydreigon, max speed timid Hydreigon. Jirachi with the Colberberry here. Calm Mind, Psychic, Moonblast, Thunderbolt. Can't really say too much else about that. Moonblast for the Hydreigon, Psychic for the Mega Venusaur, Thunderbolt for the Celesteela, everything else in between. If it's not a switch-in, it's not taking it. Being able to take a Dark Pulse from the Hydreigon can be very nice, and then being able to OHKO and return with Moonblast can also be really cool. Being able to set up on something like Rotom without Ghost Stab, being able to set up on something like Mega Venusaur without Knockoff or Earthquake can be very nice as well. Being able to set up, if Alolan Persian is cool and is like, I'm in a Parting Shot, I can start Calm Minding up on that. Obviously, Parting Shot giving us a special attack decrease, but it does boost our special defense, being able to take those hits like Giga Drain from Mega Venusaur or perhaps an HP Fire, being able to take Air Slashes from Celesteela as well, or Flamethrowers from that, being able to Calm Mind up and take those. Tossing off Thunderbolts, tossing off Psychics to the Mega Venusaur can be really cool as well. And last but not least, a Pokemon that I think is going to put in a ton of work this week is Kuro Giri, Resto, Chesto, Cofagrigus with the Mummy ability. Calm Mind, Rest, Shadow Ball, and HP Fighting. 244 in HP, 36 in defense, 8 in special attack, 220 special defense with a Calm Nature. It's a Breloom switch in because it obviously can't touch it too hard. I start Calm Minding all over it. He has no normal type on his team, so Shadow Ball spam is just really nice. And then his Shadow Ball switch-ins don't appreciate HP Fighting. So being able to HP Fighting something like the Hydreigon or the Alolan Persian should have come will be really nice. Other than that, we start Calm Minding and Shadow Ball. Calm Mind, being able to get our HP, being able to get back up to full is really nice. Shrugging off Toxics from things like Seismitoad, shrugging off Toxics from things like potentially Rotom, potentially poison damage from the Mega Venusaur as well. Being able to rest those off and get our recovery back is going to be very nice. I think Cofagrigus is going to put in a ton of work this week. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the team in the comment section down below. Of course, if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on this video. If you're new, feel free to subscribe as well. Check out the other leagues we got going on in the description. Also, be sure to check out Jolt's channel. The link to that will be in the description of this video as well. All that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great and do great. I'm going to let this outro bang. I'm going to talk to y'all soon. Later.